Today we will discuss isolation and linearization in signal conditioning. So, what is signal conditioning? The measurand, which is basically a physical quantity, as is detected by the first stage of the instrumentation or measurement system. That stage is the detector transducer stage. The quantity is detected and is transduced into electrical form. The output of the first stage has to be modified before it becomes usable and satisfactory to drive the signal presentation stage, that is last stage. This last stage may consist of indicating, recording, displaying, data processing elements, or may consist of control elements. The methods used for modifying the transduced signal into a usable format for the final stage of the measurement system is called signal conditioning. The signal conditioning equipment may be required to do linear processes like amplification, attenuation, integration, differentiation, addition, and subtraction. They are also required to do non-linear processes like modulation, demodulation, sampling, filtering, clipping and clamping, squaring, linearization, or multiplication by another function, etc. The output signal from the sensor or transducer of a measurement system has generally to be processed in some ways to make it suitable for the next stage of the operation. The signal may be, for example, too small and have to be amplified, contain interference which has to be removed. Then it may be non-linear and require linearization. It may be analog and have to be made digital. It may be digital and have to be made analog. It may be resistance change and have to be made into current change. It may be voltage change and have to be made into suitable size, current change, etc. All these changes can be referred to as signal conditioning. So today, so regarding the need of signal conditioning, so large amplification for small signals, good transient response. These are difficult to do with purely mechanical elements due to friction and inertia. So today we will see the isolation and linearization in signal conditioning system. So first is isolation. So isolated signal conditioning products, it protect and preserve valuable measurements and control signals as well as equipments from the dangerous and degrading effects of noise, transient power surges, internal ground loops, and other hazards present in industrial environments. Now we will see the methods of implementing isolation. So, isolation requires signals to be transmitted across an isolation barrier without any direct electrical contact. Now, the light emitting diodes, that is LEDs, capacitors, and inductors, are the three commonly available components that allow electrical signal transmission without any direct contact. So, you can use the LEDs or the light emitting diodes, capacitors, and the inductors for the isolation purpose. The principles on which these devices are based from the core of the three most common technologies for isolation. So first is optical isolation, second is capacitive isolation, and third is inductive coupling isolation. So we will see one by one. So first is optical isolation. So optical isolation uses an LED along with photodetector device to transmit signals across an isolation barrier using light as the method of data translation. So it uses the light for the data translation. So you can see on the left hand side, the LED produce the light when the voltage is applied across them, and on the right hand side there is a photo detector receives the light transmitted by LED and convert it back to the original signal. So advantage of optical isolation, so immunity to electrical and magnetic noise, and disadvantage, the transmission speed which is restricted by the LED switching speed, high power dissipation, and LED wear. These are some disadvantages of optical isolation. So LED light that is used for the data translation in optical isolation. Second is capacitive isolation. So capacitive isolation is based on an electric field that changes with the level of charge on a capacitor plate. This charge is detected across an isolation barrier and is proportional to the level of measured signal. So advantage of capacitive isolation, so immunity to magnetic noise and support faster data transmission rates. And disadvantage, capacitive coupling involves the use of electric fields for data transmission. It can be susceptible to interference from external electric field. So in a capacitive isolation, electric field that is used for data transmission. Then third is inductive coupling isolation. So current through a coil of wire produces a magnetic field. Current can be induced in a second coil by placing it in close vicinity of the changing magnetic field from the first coil. The voltage and current induced in a second coil depends on the rate of current change through the first. This principle is called mutual inductance and forms the basis of inductive isolation. So mutual inductance principle that is used in a inductive coupling isolation. So inductive isolation uses a pair of coils separated by a layer of insulation. So insulation prevents any physical signal transmission, and the signals can be transmitted by varying current flowing through one of the coils, which causes a similar current to be induced in the second coil across the insulation barrier. So advantage, so support faster data transmission rate, and disadvantage, susceptible to interference from external magnetic fields. That is the disadvantage. So you can see all the types of isolation and its advantages and disadvantages that is given in a table format. So capacitive isolation, advantages are fast data transmission rate and magnetic field interference immunity, and disadvantage, it is susceptible to magnetic field interference. Then similar that is given for inductive and optical isolation types. The next is linearization. So most sensor outputs are non-linear with respect to applied stimulus. As a result, their output must often be linearized in order to yield the correct measurement. For example, thermocouples have a non-linear relationship from input temperature to output voltage. So there are two methods of linearization, can be a analog or a digital. So first is software linearization, and second, that is hardware linearization. So basically it is a process of mapping or linearizing the output from the sensors with the stimulus in order to achieve the correct measurement. So first plot is the plot of voltage versus temperature for three types of thermocouple. So types that are given, and plot of second graph, that is plot of nominal Seebeck coefficient versus temperature of for three types of thermocouples. An ideal linear thermocouple would have a constant Seebeck coefficient. Selecting the thermocouple for a particular temperature range, we should choose one whose Seebeck coefficient varies as little as possible over that range. So this is regarding the isolation and linearization. Thank you.